Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Utility Sports. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the New York Jets and their situation at the quarterback position. For those of you who are new to the channel, you might not know that I am a New York Jets fan myself, so I have a little bit of a vested interest here in this discussion when it comes to the New York Jets, Sam Darnold, and what we should do on draft day here as we approach the NFL draft. We get closer and closer each and every day. So if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you are, because we cover that pretty in depth here. We have a whole bunch of mock drafts on the channel. We're actually doing a jersey giveaway right now, so make sure you comment on this video and are subscribed to get entered into that. It is a Trevor Lawrence Jacksonville Jaguars jersey. And now let's sit down and talk about Sam Darnold, the New York Jets, and what Ian Rappaport is reporting on here in this tweet. He says the Jets are planning to complete their evaluations of the top QBs in the NFL draft before making any decisions on Sam Darnold, sources say. That includes pro days and interviews. While they've received real interest in Darnold, they want to get the full QB picture first. And this is something that, is pretty appealing to me, at least. Joe Douglas is doing his research here. He's not already settled on a QB. He's not had his mind made up at this point yet, regardless of how pro days and interviews go. That is something that is very beneficial in my eyes. He's not looking to move on from Darnold necessarily. He's not sold on making that decision. He's looking at this from all angles. It's not just because he didn't draft Sam Darnold. He's not ready to move on from him quite yet necessarily. Now, is it possible he still does? Yes, I think it is possible. It is very possible yet at this point that he decides Sam Darnold's not our guy. We're not interested in him being our guy. And I understand why. In 3 years as the New York Jets starter, Sam Darnold's never played a full season. He's played 13 games, and 12 games. He's 13-25 as a record as a starter. That is not a good record at all. He has a career passer rating below 80. For comparison's sake, Kirk Cousins' passer rating almost every single year is up around 100. Aaron Rodgers is up above 100. Deshaun Watson's right around 97, 98. That is a huge drop-off from some of those top guys. Completion percentage for his career is under 60% for Sam Darnold. He has 45 career passing touchdowns, 39 career interceptions, and he's also fumbled the ball 20 times. He did not lose every one of those fumbles, but the ball was still on the ground 20 different times from him, either out in the pocket or as a ball carrier. And his career high for passing yards in a single season is only 3,024 yards. That's just not getting the job done at the quarterback position. Now, I know the Jets don't have a lot of great pieces around him. They haven't been able to protect him. They don't have receivers who create a lot of separation. Jamison Crowder's been our top receiver over the last 2 years. That's unacceptable. The Jets need to put talent around the quarterback position. That's why I'm little in and out on if I think we should draft a QB or not. This year, I think that Zach Wilson has real potential to being the second best player in this class behind Trevor Lawrence. However, am I sold that he is? I'm really not. And I think the New York Jets would be a very volatile situation because they don't have anything in place around him. They're going to have to use their salary cap space this offseason to maximize talent. They're going to have to move Darnold, get a second-round pick, hopefully maybe even a low-end first, possibly if a team is really that desperate, perhaps the Chicago Bears, to make a deal like that. But the Jets need to put people around the quarterback position. Sam Darnold hasn't had that yet at this point. But looking back at this situation, Joe Douglas, he might be looking to get his quarterback. He came in as the GM. We already had Sam Darnold in place. He didn't draft Sam Darnold. He doesn't have that connection to Sam Darnold of, oh, I have to make my QB work, the one that I brought in. No, he has the chance here now to make his own decision at the quarterback position. It could be Zach Wilson. I would be surprised if it was Justin Fields at pick 2. Perhaps it's a trade down with a team that wants Zach Wilson. Then maybe you grab Justin Fields or possibly Trey Lance. However, I'm not sold on if those are really great high caliber moves for the New York Jets. It would depend on what the trade down situation would look like, how many other assets we would get in that deal. But I think Joe Douglas is going about this in a pretty smart way. You know, he's not rushing into anything. He's not saying we got to move Sam Darnold right now, especially with what we've already seen happen. Stafford got traded. Jared Goff got dealt back to Detroit. We've now seen Carson Wentz move. The time to move Sam Darnold early was about a month ago, before all of these other deals have taken place, where you could have maybe found a destination and a little bidding price for Sam Darnold. Now at this point, it looks like there's less QBs moving around, and there's more time for Joe Douglas to wait on moving Sam Darnold. The Chicago Bears are going to have a need at QB. There's a few other teams that might want to look at addressing that quarterback position, possibly the New Orleans Saints. I don't see a trade necessarily likely there, but there's a few other teams as well that are going to be maybe giving the Jets calls about Sam Darnold. Some teams are giving calls to the Raiders right now about Marcus Mariota. That should be driving up Sam Darnold's value too. The QB market stalled a little bit. There's not a lot of guys who are going to be on their way out, more than likely, making Sam Darnold the top guy at this point. However, does that mean that he's going to get dealt? Not necessarily. I think that it is smart for the Jets and Joe Douglas to take their time going through this. And ultimately, do I see the Jets having Sam Darnold be their starting quarterback next year? I don't. I think that Joe Douglas is going to address the QB position. I've been so back and forth on it. I wanted them to really look at Penei Sewell or maybe a wide receiver like Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith in this year's draft. However, it doesn't sound like that's going to be the route that Joe Douglas goes. At this point, I'm very confident saying that the New York Jets will draft another quarterback this year. We've drafted the most in the first 3 rounds since, I believe, 2000 out of all NFL franchises. That is an absolute mess, that's the fact. Even more than the Cleveland Browns, I'm pretty sure. And looking at it here, we're just going to add one more to the list. I hope Zach Wilson is the right guy. I really do. I want my New York Jets to get back on track here. And quite frankly, Darnold isn't the guy. I'm fully aware of that. However, I'm just nervous about the infrastructure around a new young QB, whether that's Zach Wilson, who, I mean, quite frankly, had a wonderful season at BYU. His season at BYU would have been Sam Darnold's best season in high school, college, wherever you're looking, really. BYU, Zach Wilson this past year, extremely productive, really great season there. I do have a little bit of questions about the level of competition he faced, but at this point, it does sound like the Jets are going to essentially move on from Sam Darnold. I know that this tweet right here is suggesting that they're not rushing to do that, but I think that reports of this coming out and the fact that the Jets are planning to spend so much time on the QBs in this class when we do have 2 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks, shows that we are going to lean to taking a quarterback. Otherwise, we'd be spending a lot more time at looking at other positions and maybe not necessarily fully diving into the top QBs in this class. Now, best case scenario, Trevor Lawrence doesn't go pick 1. The Jacksonville Jaguars don't take him, but there's no way that's happening. At this point, Sam Darnold is going to be probably on his way out. Let me know in the comments below where you think that could land him. I think the Chicago Bears are the one that make the most sense. They jump off the page to me most sensibly. Maybe Philadelphia. Maybe the Eagles want to buy in on him. However, I don't necessarily see that as being super likely either. And like I said, the QB market slowed down a little bit, so the Jets have some time here to take time with moving Sam Darnold if they do decide to go in that direction. Let me know who you think the Jets starting QB will be going into next season. I'm just hoping that whoever they take is going to have a positive impact on this roster. I think Zach Wilson's upside is really there. I think that there's also a potential, though, that he could be an absolute bust. And spending the 2nd overall pick on him, I do think is a little bit of a risk. But I think it could be one that would pay off very well, possibly for the New York Jets. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and comment for that jersey giveaway. We will have that running through the next month or so. So make sure to comment on as many of our videos as you can and be subscribed. We'd love to have you guys aboard here at Utility Sports, and we'll catch you guys in the very next video.